Gorilla Mindset. 50% of my Twitter followers support single-payer healthcare. So that's interesting. It's not something anybody talks about. A lot of people are surprised to learn that I support single-payer. And people are saying, but Mike, conservatives don't believe in socialized medicine unless they're in Congress and they're getting healthcare. Do conservatives in Congress have socialized healthcare? They have awfully good medical benefits. Have you ever looked at what kind of medical benefits Republicans in Congress get? You might be surprised by some of this. So that is why I tell people I'm not a conservative. I'm not a conservative. I'm a nationalist and I'm a populist. There's a reason I get a little bit annoyed with people and I ban and block a lot of people. I've written multiple books which don't cost a lot of money. I've written multiple articles which you can read for free, stating my views quite clearly in my position. I am not a conservative. I am a populist and I'm a nationalist. I believe in...
When I say ultra-conservative.
Yeah, that...
conservative blogger.
Exactly. Yeah, so Shauna reads more... I don't read the articles about me usually. Shauna does, though. Just gets her mad, and she kind of likes to be mad. It's kind of funny. So she goes, Mike, well, she calls me Michael. They're calling you an ultra-conservative. I'm like, yeah, I know they're fake news, man. They don't call me before they write about me. Nobody at CNN writes me or emails me or talks to me before they call me. They just make stuff up. So a lot of people, I'm just going to tell you, if we built the wall and closed the border, the healthcare crisis would be solved overnight. If all we did was build the wall, illegal immigrants already get single payer. Illegal immigrants already get single payer. Republicans in Congress already get single payer. Democrats in Congress already get single payer. It already is going to happen. So what are we going to do? We are single payer is coming because healthcare for our nation. That's why we're nationalists. So remember, I'm a nationalist, I'm a populist. A populist means I care about the median American, the forgotten man, the forgotten woman. I care about the people. I mean, I'll give you an example. I had a real sad moment yesterday. Yes, guys, I'm going to be on 60 Minutes. How about we talk about what I want to talk about, and then we can talk about what you want to talk about. Right? Does that sound like a plan? I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and then we'll have an open Q&A about 60 Minutes and all that stuff. So I had a real sad moment yesterday. I was at Office Max, and I had a real sad moment because I just went in there and I go, a brick and mortar store like Office Max is the past. I had a feeling of overwhelming sadness for the people in there. This is the past. You don't need an Office Max. There's no need for it. The only reason I win is I have to print out labels, my distribution company, and I've had some drama. No big deal, but I thought Office Max is the past. You don't need it. You can have robots, AI. What are you going to do when you have robots that can just say, what are you looking for? Here's what you're looking for. They scan it and you're paying in Bitcoin, or they have a credit card machine on them. So a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Office Max used to be the thing, right? Used to be a big deal. And the issue is that the jobs are going away in America. The jobs are going... I look at the future, I don't look at the present. That is why a lot of people think I'm wrong, but I'm proven right always in the future. A lot of jobs are going to be lost to automation. What are we going to do when the truck driving? Here's what I want you to do. I'm driving down... Well, I'm not driving. I'm being driven down the highway. There's a truck, right? When you're driving down the highway, just count the number of trucks on the road. Those are all gone with automation. Office Max, going to be gone with automation. Going to be gone with even... You don't even need the really deep AI. Just basic AI. And Office Max is gone. So what are you going to do with all these people who are going to lose jobs, right? What are you going to do? I know Canada's not perfect. America would have better. And you should still be able to travel. You should still be able to travel to get healthcare done. Right? Right? You should still be able to travel and get stuff done. So that's the thing. Single payer doesn't mean you can only use in-network. Here's what it would look like. the Mike Cernovich healthcare plan, here's what it's like. People like me, people like Mike Cernovich, I should have a healthcare deductible between 10% and 20% of my income. Why? Because I can afford to go to the doctor. I pay Cyrus, because Cyra and I, we go to a unique doctor. We don't go to a conventional doctor because we're on a different vaccination schedule than usual. So because of that, we go to a special doctor, and I pay cash for the visit. And I have no problem paying cash for the visit, and I can afford that. So I pay for my own visits. I pay for Cyra's. Not a big deal. People like me who can afford to do that should do it, up to, say, 10% or 20% of income. But if something truly catastrophic happens, then that's a different issue. That would be a different tier. So you will have two tiers of doctors. You will have doctors who only take cash patients. And then you'll have doctors who are single payer doctors. And you should have it. In Canada, you don't have the choice. That's the problem with Canada. What Gorilla Mindset teaches you, what Mike Cernovich teaches you, is that you learn from the mistakes of other people. In Canada, you don't have a choice. In Canada, you can't go to a different Canadian doctor. It's quite different. Single payer equals gives me that. You live at home. You're blocked. You live at home, bro. It gives me that. How much money does your parents give you, right? How long have how many businesses have you started? So if you want to pop off, make sure you're actually doing something right. And I am realistic. Do I know, philosophically, do I agree with, say, Stefan Molyneux? Philosophically, I would say that I agree with somebody like Stefan Molyneux, philosophically. But politics is different than philosophy. Philosophy is what is true. Politics is what you can get done. This is a Mike Cernovich original quote. Philosophy is what is true. Politics is what you can get done. So I've lived in both worlds. I can study philosophy, think about these issues at a very, very deep level, very fundamental level. But I also live in the political world, which politics is what you can get done. Philosophy is what's true. Politics is what can get done. Anybody who's ever lived anywhere, done anything in life, knows that what is true doesn't always become reality, right? We've all had people lie about us and had things happen that were untrue, but that doesn't matter. That's just reality. Reality doesn't always, what people do, because people, why do you block people who disagree? Because I have a lot of people who want to talk to me and engage in productive conversation. So I don't have time to talk to people who want to be snarky and annoying. That is why. You know how many people actually want to be here? The way I look at it is, there are a lot of people. I'm not desperate for readers. I've never bought an advertisement. There are people who want to be here and want to talk. If you don't want to be here and you don't want to talk, then just go. I'm okay with that. I've never begged anybody to read me, and I've never bought advertisements, right? So that's what's true. Single payer is coming. We will be able to import medication through Canada. We will have an interstate healthcare exchange. You will be able to buy insurance across state lines. We will be able to import medication from Canada. Our patent laws will be reformed. Patent laws will be reformed. There will also be an exception for patients who want to try experimental medication, should have that option. So if you have a really serious medical condition, you shouldn't let the FDA kill you. The FDA is killing millions of people a year by not approving drugs because they're too risk averse. But if I have a medical condition that is, say, 50% fatal, and there's an experimental drug that could potentially work for me, or it might kill me, we don't know, I should have that right as a consumer to choose my own life destiny. Self-determination for people, self-determination for nations. We should definitely be able to get these kind of experimental drugs. We have to reform the FDA. To lower healthcare costs for common colds and the flu, physicians, assistants, and nurses will be allowed to treat people for the common cold and the flu. Now you don't need to see a doctor. You shouldn't have to see a doctor because you have a sniffle, or maybe because your kid, has some snot running down their nose. Okay? You shouldn't have to go to a doctor for that. this is not a big deal. You should be able to do this through a physician's assistant, a nurse, or some kind of mid-between. There's like doctor and then nobody. Well, there's, because I'll give you an example. Syra was born at a midwifery, and they're midwives. Syra was not born in a hospital. She wasn't born with the doctor. She was born naturally. Shauna used the power of self-hypnosis. She took no pain medication. That should be our right as healthcare people, right? We had the right, and Shauna had the right as a woman, her body, her choice. It's funny how that doesn't apply to natural childbirth. Isn't that interesting? Suddenly, my body, my choice only applies, you know, where the Democrats want it. So Syra was born with midwives. We never had a doctor do it. And we paid out of pocket. We paid cash. For those of you who wondered, it was $8,000. Well worth it. So we paid cash money and had Syra born in a midwifery.
And also included like all the
And, you know, the $8,000 included all the visits, healthcare, education. It was a great deal. It was a great deal, way cheaper than it would be in a hospital. So I should have that right as a consumer to do that. So you don't need doctor and then nothing. There should be doctor and then, oh, you got the cold, you have the flu, maybe your kid isn't sleeping well. And a lot of this stuff is people who seek medical care really just want reassurance. Hey, my kid is, you know, twitching a little bit. Is that a neurological disease, right? A lot of, you don't need to go to a doctor for that. You're probably just, your kid was annoyed with you or is having a growth spurt. Probably not really a big deal, okay? But you want that reassurance, so you don't need to go see a doctor for that. You should see a mid-level person. So there's all kinds of different things we could do if we really think like visionaries and we think about solutions rather than problems, and if we don't think about the special interests. The reason you get information from me that you don't get anywhere else is that, do you think NBC is going to have anybody on the news talk about what I'm talking about? Who is the #1 advertiser for the mainstream media? Who's the #1 advertiser for the mainstream media? So a lot of people consider, oh, NBC has news, ABC has news, CBS has news. But you have an awful lot of drug company commercials there. Isn't that funny how that works? Do you think the drug companies don't have editorial control over the news? That is why nobody talks about these ideas that I talk about. Because I'm advertiser free, the people support me. The people support me when they buy my books, buy my movies, kickstart my stuff, Patreons and things like that. I don't need advertising money from the drug companies. I'm not bought and paid for, unlike Cory Booker, a Democrat, unlike Hillary Clinton, a Democrat, unlike Paul Ryan. Ryan Care was nothing but, you guys really want to talk about 60 Minutes. All right, I'm going to close this one down and we'll talk about 60 Minutes separately. I'm trying to keep my Periscopes topical. So to sum it up, I have a health care plan that will work for all of America and for all Americans. Philosophically, it might not be what I would like, or maybe what Stefan Molyneux would like, or maybe what you would like philosophically, but politically, it will work, it will pass, and 50% of my people, my readers and my viewers, support it. So we can make it happen. We can make it happen. Thanks for tuning in. Mike Cernovich, DangerandPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset. Single payer, still a free choice for healthcare, lower regulations by the FDA, consumer patient choice, drug importation, Medicaid, Medicare allowed to negotiate with drug companies, VA allowed to negotiate with drug companies. We got to take healthcare out of the hands of the lobbyists. We have to take it out of their hands. We got to take it for the people. There's a lot of things to do. But we're on it. We're on it. I'll talk to you soon.